I'm Eric with District 82 Pinball with a tech video. I am working on Spider-Man. Now what is going on with Spider-Man is I'm into the service menu all the time. And on Spider-Man, this black button here has been giving me troubles where it's been intermittent, and I'm finally sick of it, and so I'm just going to change it out because it's really easy. On this generation of game, they use these buttons right here. You can get them with the 3 different colors from your pinball suppliers. They're cheap. They're like $1. And they work pretty good. Now Stern used these from roughly like 2002 or 2003, I believe, all the way through the end of Sam's system, and so that's like 2015. And then once they went to Spike, they changed over to a different set, and then you have to buy a whole set instead of getting them individually. But to change these out is really easy. And you know, the only thing that's a little different is you actually got to use a metric wrench. So it's a 14 millimeter wrench to pull this off. And there's no diodes or nothing on the wires here. So it's literally just 2 wires, and you just have to desolder them and then solder the new ones in. And it's just a momentary switch. So we'll just undo this nut right here, pull it out, and solder the new one in. And it's really quick. So let me do that. All right, the first thing I'm going to do, just to make this easier, is I'm just going to take it off of the coin door here. And it's just 2 screws right here on the coin door. And then you have full access to this. And now you can see it. It's just one on the end. And it doesn't even matter which terminal that you put the new wires onto. It's a momentary switch and there's no diode. So you're just going to desolder those 2 and then put the new one in. Okay, I'm actually just going to cut the wires. It'll be easier since they're on the end. And then take my 14 millimeter and then loosen this up. And then take this off. It's a very thin nut, so it can kind of get cross-threaded pretty easy. But if you're doing it by hand, you're not going to mess up anything. It's just when you got the wrench on it, make sure the threads are in the proper grooves here. So let me just take this off and put the new one in. So it's all off. Now I'm just pulling out the old one. Got my brand new one here with the nice ends that haven't had anything on them yet. Put the lock washer on, and then the nut. And then again, you want to put this on by hand because it does like to cross thread really easy, since it is just such a thin nut. And then you just got to tighten it up by hand, and then once you get to the very end, you can kind of cinch it down. So let me get this in. Okay, and now that it's pretty much hand tight, I'm just going to use my wrench and just give it that one last little bit to tighten it down. And that's it. Now I'm going to strip the wires, solder them back in, and that'll be it for the button. Okay, so I stripped this wire back on both sides, and then I'm just putting it in the switch, and then I'm just going to solder it in. It's super easy. This is not a hard thing to do, but that switch was really bothering me. If it doesn't work every time, I couldn't mentally handle it, so I had to replace this switch. And like I said, they're cheap. You could just replace the one at a time, and it's not a big deal. So soldering it in, and then you just got to make sure you don't like bridge the 2 sides together. And that's it. That is soldered. That is done. They're not touching. And then I'm just going to screw this back in on the coin door right here, and we're done. Okay, it is in, and now every time I push this button, it is working. No issues. And that kind of repair, you don't need to do it very often. Okay, like I've only replaced a few of those service buttons the entire time I've ever done it. Been working on pinballs, at least for this generation of pinball. But it's good to know they're out there. They're cheap, easy to replace. I'm Eric with District K2 Pinball in De Pere, Wisconsin.